Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. This commentary is pertaining to a video chat screenshot sent from Don Wells to a YouTuber. I don't know if it's an actual screenshot, if it's been altered, but at the top of the screenshot, it has Boy H's name, government name, and the emoji that was used at the time for his Facebook profile through Messenger, and the date on it is June 4th. At about, I believe this is 3:41 p.m. The video chat lasted for 1 minute 5 seconds, June 4th at 3:41 p.m. Now, many people will probably go haywire with this said information, but as I took it, who's to say? It could be conversation that took place actually on the 4th. The grandmother had a doctor's visit on that said day, just as she did on June 15th. You have to weigh everything in true crime. The one thing you have to weigh is the messenger. The messenger has not been forthcoming with factual information, he and Candace. So I took this information with a grain of salt, but I bring you this information because it's in the queue. Evil Exists is the source of this said information. Thank you for joining me.
It's posted by the lovely Emma from Crime Stories Obsessed that Dawn sent her about 10 weeks ago. This screenshot raised many red flags for me. On the day Summer went missing, we were told was the 15th June 2021. Her grandmother was in the hospital. While they were waiting for Grandma, H and Candace had some communication, and then Candace decided to go over to H's house while they wait for Grandma Candy to finish at the hospital. A lot of confusion over who opened the line of communication first, as H and Candace say they've not been in contact for months before the 15th June. Here comes the problem now. The screenshot that Dawn sent to Emma says they had contact on the 4th June 2021. Let's analyze it line by line. It shows a video call from Candace to H at around 3:41 p.m. on June 4th. The call lasted just over a minute. H then texted and said yo, and then Candace replied yo. H said she should come visit. It is possible that she explained on the video call that she was waiting for her mother at the hospital, and that is why he suggested they come visit him while they wait. Candace then says, after she gets Grandma, meaning Grandma Candy, from the hospital. She then asks whether H's grandma went with him or stayed with Allie. Where is H at this point? I thought he was at home. He replies stayed with Allie, and then Candace says oh okay. Now, I want to ask you, how is it possible this exact situation that they explained went down on the 15th June 2021 happened 11 days earlier? Grandma at the hospital, H says Candace must visit, asks about H's grandma, etc. All of that supposedly happened on the 15th June, the day Summer apparently went missing. This is extremely confusing now. Why is the date showing the 4th June 2021?
That is by Evil Exists. Let me say that Don is the source of this information. Allegedly, he sent it to a YouTuber. Why he sent this information, I don't know. My thing is, why would you send it if it's to contradict what is the narrative that you and Candace Bly Wells have been spinning since day one? It would make no sense to send it, because if you are saying that on June 15th that what your wife told you was the truth, and to the world, news, law enforcement of the said events, and basically Boy H is corroborating most of those said places they went on that day, then I don't really understand the purpose of sending this information to anybody. So what we have to ask ourselves is, what was the point of Donald Wells sending this to someone? What was the point? Perhaps the grandmother went to the doctor on the 4th of June. They had a conversation via Messenger, and that was the extent of it. But see, what I always tell people, as I put on my community posts, feel free to verify the said information, is that when you're dealing with the messenger who doesn't seem to be telling the truth, you can't get excited over anything that's brought out by the said persons. That's how I feel about this said information. I'm not putting any stock really into it because in the end, as with the beginning, you don't know what you're listening to. You don't know what to believe by the said parties involved in the storyline. I'm up late in the wee hour. I just got done watching the Chris Madonna uncut video that's in the queue, and he's basically chopping up everything that was said in the said video with Boy H and with Allie. And there's a lot to be said for that said information. I do believe that the son has been truthful to some degree in the said video, listening to it again. Because, naturally you will miss key points in a person's testimony of what allegedly happened. I believe he was telling the truth in what happened. He seems honest to me. And I don't know him, so I can only go by what he has said. But as some people have said in the commentary section of many videos, I would believe Boy H over Candace and Don any day. Of course, why not? First of all, he's a child. What investment does he have to lie and make up these names of people pertaining to drug dealers and people on the property roaming around trying to touch children? Just crazy nonsense that, one, we learned that Candace brought up in the first conversation pertaining to somebody being on the property, lurking around with the children. And then two, same name, introduced as a drug dealer in deleted text messages in a cell phone. Naturally, all that information has been gathered and dissected by law officials. When you go over that Chris Madonna video and listen to the audio, you'd have to admit that that boy didn't make up all that. Because see, the one thing that's basically the bingo card of the storyline is that he got a lot of his information from Candace Bly. And I've said that many times in my lives as of late. That had he not been introduced to this woman, had he not been around his mother listening to conversation and he wouldn't know half the things that he knows about Candace Bly. He's been in her company to know her demeanor, the things that she does, such as playing peekaboo, hide and go seek with the children, getting turned up. Who's to say that was all a ruse even back then when she was doing it? Playing crazy, calling drunk, dialing drunk as they call it. She's done it before with sisters out west, Don's sisters, saying that Don was taken by FBI. So let's think back to that comment from Boy H. She's done it with him as well, calling saying that she can't find her children, but all along the children were there. Who's to say she was not playing mind games then? Inebriated perhaps, but very aware of what she was doing. A ruse, mind games, childish games. And we know what happens when you play childish games. You can't believe anything that comes out of the mouths of these people. I think it's obvious. And I would advise you to go back and listen to the video, uncut version of Boy H's interview with Chris Madonna, because when you listen to it, there's no way I can see how some of you could think that he's lying. And I'm quite offended by his father coming forward saying that he believes some of the things he said were not true and that he doesn't believe perhaps some of those things. Well, let's think about that for a minute. Sir, you're basically throwing your son under the bus as a liar. And you don't think that law officials wouldn't go back to him to question him again? To say, well, why would your father say that? What part of this, and this is it that he feels is a lie? So then he would have to now go back and rehash everything that he has said to law officials and in the Chris Madonna interview. Now imagine that. Who would want to do that? No one. No one. So I don't think the father should be talking, because in the end, as I have said, this could play out in a court of law. And sir, then you would then have to come into court and testify to why you made those statements about your son not telling the whole truth pertaining to June 15th. And if you're really concerned about your son, his livelihood, his mental state, and him going forward in life to progress as a decent young man, how is this information helpful? You see, sometimes it's best to be quiet. And I think a lot of people have not learned that in this story pertaining to Summer Wells. People have not learned to shut up. You should have said nothing. Because it was bad enough that he did the interview with Chris Madonna. And yes, it brought a little bit of light pertaining to Candy and who she is and what she's about. The events of June 15th. Some people believe Boy H, some people don't. Some people believe Candy, some people don't. Everything's about interpretation. But you coming forward now, 7 months into the game, to basically say that you believe some of the things he said was BS is out of line. You shouldn't have said anything. Because it makes your son look bad. It makes him out to be a liar. And then people will start to wonder what part of the interview was he lying about. So I'm going to ask you, since you've opened Pandora's box, what part of the interview was your son lying about? Just asking. You see, you're making things worse when the situation is already asinine. And that's when people have to question, including myself, what is your motivation for coming forward now speaking pertaining to Boy H and June 15th? Are you now, like most people, jumping on the bandwagon for clout? Because as I said, how could saying those things about your son be beneficial at this point when he's trying to better himself in a very dire situation? I don't think it was helpful at all. It was below the belt, quite frankly, and you're his father. You had no right to say those things. And that's an old saying. You can think it, but you don't speak it. So then I have to wonder about, as I said, who you really are, and are you really a good fit for Boy H? And then we have to ask the ultimate question. Is Boy H in your peripheral? Because how fucked up would that be if he is actually living with you and you've said those said things about him? Imagine that. When you go into that interview with Chris Madonna, he goes on and on about the milk. It's very daunting and exhausting and quite annoying. So one would ask, Chris Madonna, what do you know about the milk? And as one YouTuber has mentioned in their commentary as of late that I put on my community post, maybe there's something to it about the milk. So most people would say, hey, Chris, get to the point. Are you going to say what you think about the milk or no? So is it perhaps the milk never made it to 110 Ben Circle? Is that what we're talking about? Ben Hill Road, Ben Hill Circle, it's all the same to the Queen. Because I kept hearing it over and over in this interview, and it was annoying as hell then, and it's annoying to me now. If you have something to say, then just say it. Stop beating around the bush. Did the milk not make it to the address? Is the milk a ruse? But then one would have to say, well, then why buy groceries, period? You're going to buy some groceries, but only leave the milk out. So what are we saying? What is the significance of the milk? Where it's sat, where the boy sat, where the girl sat. What is the damn point? Get to it already. And that was kind of annoying to me watching the video. I wanted him to just get to the point and say, this is why I'm asking. Then even telling the child, Boy H, they're going to ask about this and blah, 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 blah. So naturally the child's going to wonder, okay, why? Unless he knows something about the milk. So damn, just get to the point. What is it about the milk? I don't know what the significance is about the milk. But I can't ponder on it because I don't have that kind of time. Is it significant where it sat, where it was, the pillow, where it was, where it ain't, the clothes, this and that? But you hear all that information in the video by Boy H. And this is why I know he didn't make all that stuff up. It's too elaborate, the things he said. Talking about changing of clothes, putting on an outfit to go to a swim park, bought versus outfit was already in the car. So you have to listen to everything. And I keep telling you all that. Everything is in the details. See, a lot of people don't listen. And a lot of people hear what they want from said commentary. You take what you want from the commentary. But the commentary is pivotal to this case. Drug dealer name mentioned 2 times pertaining to messing with children when allegedly Mr. Don should have been at work. Candy lied about where the children were to boy H. Because naturally she didn't want to tell him that, hey, I left my damn children at home. Of course not. So what is the truth? Where were the boys? Did Don go to work? Was there someone on the property messing with the children? And as boy H said, how would he know if he's at work? Exactly. And he was basically trying to explain that TBI told him that he wasn't at work. Now, I don't know if that was a ruse or not, but Chris Madonna wouldn't even let him finish saying. He was talking over him. I wanted him to finish saying what TBI told him about Don Wells being at work. What is the truth? And as Chris Madonna said in this commentary, why would someone defend the drug dealer? Why now? And that's a pivotal question. Bingo card, exactly. Why now, 7 months in? Would anyone want to defend an Andy? For what reason? Why now? Months and months have gone by. Season for seasons have changed. And somebody wants to defend him. For what damn reason? His name was mentioned for a reason. 2 times, as a matter of fact, in this interview. And boy H is savvy. He's a nosy Parker, snooping through things to get to the gist of the story. So we have to ask ourselves what was actually in those deleted text messages. What's the deal with this now information uploaded to the queue about June 4th? Is it relevant or not relevant? But if we were to say that this is a issue of the child going missing on June 4th, then that would mean Allie and boy H are lying. And why would they lie when they didn't even have to get involved, if that's the case? So this is why I tell you everything's in the details, and you have to think about what you're saying and think about what you're hearing. Why even get involved, period? I don't like you. We're not friends anymore. I don't have to lie for you. I don't have to make up anything about you because I don't fool with you. I don't talk to you. So why lie? And as Chris Madonna has said, the places that they went on that said June 15th have been verified. So then that means she couldn't have gone missing before June 15th, Summer Wells. If the places have been verified on June 15th. See, everything's in the details. So what are we now saying? Chris Madonna's lying about who he's talked to and who said, yes, they came in here on this day. Yes, they came over here on this day. So this is what happens when people are trying to put together a puzzle, put together the pieces, put together a timeline. But you see, everything is in the details. And I always tell people to always go back to the beginning of the story. And when you think about Don Wells calling his wife to say somebody's on the property, you have to ask yourself one thing. How would you know that someone was on the property if indeed you are at work? Then that means the children had to be left alone. If let's just say he's telling the truth now, then that means the boys were alone. And what? They called the father. From what phone? To say somebody's up here bothering us. Then that means if that is true, then the boys were outside playing and not inside. Stay woke. Or was this a ruse and made up by Mr. Wells? Did he know she had people in the car, boy H, to play mind games? Who's to say? But then the fact that she lied to Boy H about where the boys were, saying they were with Don. But then allegedly they were at home. So what is the truth? They were at home or with Donald Wells. What is the truth? See, there's so many things that don't add up. Dispatch call, commentary to the news, Miss Earhart's testimony to TBI of what the child was wearing, outside, no shoes, contradictory to what Candace Bly has told the public in the news. The outfit the child wore to Boy H's house, changed into a bathing suit. Now, why would a child lie about that? He has no reason to lie about that. It's irrelevant and pointless to lie about something like that. Because, see, boys turn into those same type of men who don't pay attention to details. They woke. So the child goes to his house in one set of clothes, changes into a bathing suit, whatever that may have been, then goes to the pond to play around, then changes into something else. But allegedly is supposed to wear that same outfit to another water park, which makes no sense if she was actually changed into the zip-up jacket and the pants. So what? The one question Chris Madonna, you forgot to ask Boy H, well, can you tell me what exactly the outfit was that she was changed into that was bought? So now we have to ask the ultimate question. Was the outfit bought on the outing of June 15th and not already in Grandis's vehicle? Nobody's asked that. Because he did say bought. He didn't say brung or brought with an R. He said bought, as if they, Candy and Grandis, bought the child an outfit on that outing, June 15th. The running around from store to store. And Chris Madonna, you should have asked him, when you say bought, do you mean they bought her a new outfit on that day? And where did they buy it if they did? You missed that. Then that would kill the question of if it was an outfit already in the car of Grandis, and why would it have been in there in the first place? A jacket and pants. Why would it not have been in the house? How long was it in the car? What date it was purchased? You see, those are the things you ask. I would have indeed asked him, what did they put her in after she came out of the swimming pond? That would have killed any discrepancies and killed all rumors. But Chris Madonna didn't ask that. So we're left to ponder the TikTok video versus what she originally went in to Boy H's house, which was a tank top and shorts, allegedly. So why in the hell would someone put a zip-up jacket and pants on? Is it because she was chilled coming out of the water? But then I have to ask myself, it's hot here in the South. And even with the windows down, yes, okay, maybe a little cool breeze blowing with all windows down. But when the car is motionless, it would be warm when the sun is out. So many questions, no answers. On and on about a pillow. And he does mention that. The child was on a pillow. Then Chris Madonna questions that. Where is the pillow? Boy H isn't going to pay attention to those things. Why would he? He's a child. But obviously Chris Madonna knows something, has been told something by law officials, and that's why he went on and on about the milk, the placement of the milk, if the child was woke, how she was feeling, if she was lucid when she came out of the water, walking, talking, breathing basically. And did he see the pillow? But I'd like to know myself, what is the point to the milk questions? What is the point to the pillow? See, the gist of the story is you'll probably never get the truth. Because who's going to tell you the truth? Not Candace nor Don. And I think many of you who have immersed yourself in the case need to stop talking to YouTubers because you're not helping the situation. You're only making it worse. And I don't think Boy H's father should be talking to anybody about this case. Because as I said, I do believe he gutted his own son by saying he doesn't believe he's told everything. That was a horrible thing to say because basically you're telling the world that your son's a liar. And I quite believe the things that he said about June 15th. I think a lot of people believe him because it's too detailed and it just doesn't sound like a bunch of lies versus what we've heard from Candace. You see, everything's in the details. And most of this sounds orchestrated to me. Cover up and or orchestrated. One person's name mentioned in the storyline by Boy H as a drug dealer and somebody canvassing the property allegedly. Those are all things told to Boy H by Candace. Because what you have to ask yourself is, where would he have gotten that information from? He didn't make that up. Somebody told him that BS. And that's why he was able to repeat it. A child being in a grown person's world, livelihood, a place where he should not have been, was in the company of her. To vape, drink tea, and hear all this BS of nonsense. He deserves to be in a child's place and live a child's life. Enjoy being a child. But he didn't have the fortitude to have that because these people have immersed him into grown folks' business and nonsense and foolishness and mayhem and possibly a witness to a crime. And that would be the ultimate betrayal. As if he did see something and he's not telling us that truth. And I pray that's not what's happening. Because that would be a hell of a burden to carry. Knowing that when she came out of the water, she wasn't altogether right. This is why the father shouldn't be saying anything to the public about his son. Because now people are going to start to question what Boy H has said in the interview. You have got to learn when to be quiet and just shut up. But I believe everybody just wants a piece of the pie. Oh yeah, the money pie. Everybody else is doing it. Why not me? Let me get a piece, a portion of the money. Make money. Build a following. People can follow me, talk. Listen to me talk about this and that. Partner with YouTube. Get a PayPal, Patreon, Cash App. Because that's what this is looking like. Is it not? Time will tell. Time will surely tell. If you want to donate to the channel, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all for joining me. This is my commentary pertaining to the information of the June 4th alleged text. I'm not putting any stock into it because my thing is if you can't get a receipt, it doesn't really matter. Thanks for joining me.